Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's weird that only my one headphone is working. Wow, Nick, you have so cool video. Do you have new webcam? Yeah, let's wait for a few more minutes. Okay, I think we can start. I will post link to the document into chat and share my screen. Can you see my screen? All right. So welcome on the weekly Cozystack community meeting. I'll repeat that we have Telegram group where you can join and ask your questions. We also have Slack channel in official Kubernetes Slack, where you can also join and ask your questions. We are taking care of this. We looking and answering you. We probably don't have anyone new on this meeting, so we can go ahead and switch to agenda. And I would like to start with announcing new Cozystack release. This one is focused on stability. We released few releases, patch releases actually, 33.1 and 33.2, which solves a lot of problems, especially related with OpenAPI and many things. It also includes the feature for defining OpenAPI schema. So for now, it works both for version 2 and version 3. Also, we added a guide, how can you set up Windows machine using Cozystack, and how can you adopt existing Windows image, how can you actually import it and configure it to be loading from the virtual drivers. And also another guide for setting up MikroTik RouterOS, which also might be useful together with VMI router feature, which slightly changed the logic for virtual machines. So we introduced boot order option, which is set correctly for all the disks. This might be useful in case if you're installing Windows or some custom operating system from the ISO, because you can set up ISO as a second drive. So first drive could be empty. And when you perform the installation, First, it will be booted from the second drive, and after installation, it will actually boot from the first one. Also, we finally fixed singular resource names in Cozystack API. So previously it wasn't working. Now we can run kubectl get tenant, get MySQL, get Kubernetes. So now it is completely working. Also, we introduced new backup solution for Postgres. For now, it uses another mechanism for backups. We do support point-in-time recovery, and a lot of fixes were introduced. I will not mention all of them. The thing I want to do here is to show how the things work. We have OpenAPI demo. Let's switch to that a bit later. We also introduced a few options for allocating resources. Actually, this resource 033 was targeted on fixing resources, and we also introduced a few options for overselling the resources. So for now, you can specify a single option in Cozystack configuration file, like CPU allocation ratio and memory allocation ratio, which would allow you to enforce requests and limits to be calculated from this value. So for example, if you have CPU allocation ratio equals to 10, and if you create some service with one CPU specified, it will be created with 100 milli CPUs and as requests and one CPU as a limit. This logic was borrowed from virtual machines and from the KubeVirt logic. And we extended this logic to be working with other management applications. We also refactored the option, how can you specify those resources for the tenants? That's just, for example, when you create new application or new tenant, for now, the only option is available to specify resources like this. And then platform will automatically calculate requests and limits according to those versioning options. Also, we introduced the option for backupping PVCs using Velero. Velero is a default solution for backupping Kubernetes resources. For now, we added basic implementation on how can you actually set up Velero. So we ship Velero together with the platform. It is now optional component, but you can use Velero and enable it as an add-on for tenant Kubernetes clusters and in management Kubernetes cluster. And we added an instruction, how can you actually use this Velero to backup all of your PVCs, your data and Kubernetes manifests. Currently, we also still working on adding backup supports and snapshots for tenant Kubernetes clusters. All right, then, the new release also coming. We cut the beta version. It includes a lot of updated components. So you can see list store were updated, KubeVirt and CDI, also Flux operator. But the most interesting option is that we start supporting OpenAPI schema in our API. And I'm going to show you how exactly it works. I have a short demo. Not sure if you can see my screen. I probably don't hear anyone.
Yeah, we see your screen. Yeah.
Thank you. So Kubernetes allows you to specify OpenAPI schema for your objects, and that's exactly what we did. So for now, every component which we provide has this schema specified. Just for example, the best option to demonstrate this, you can use explain command, and you can explain some resource, let's say Kubernetes. So we can see all the options So add-ons which can we enable, and the options for these add-ons. There were also a few issues about how can you operate with this schema, this kubectl. So we fixed all of these issues. So for now, this schema, which you can see here, it is more recommended scheme. So it not enforces you to use exactly these parameters. This is just first step. But for now, you can already consume this by the various clients. Let's say Terraform will now completely understand what kind of field you're trying to fill. Do you have any questions on this? All right, then let's switch to our agenda. We had new item from Nick, how we improve testing of Cozystack with Nexus and ephemeral environments and added tests for the managed apps. Yeah, we did a lot of work on our pipeline. You can see it from the actions page. We have pull requests pipeline, which is every time when you create new application, when you create new pull request, we run the tests which do building, prepare environment, install Cozystack on this. We have environment of free virtual machines, and then we run all the tests for the applications we provide in Cozystack. In case if something goes wrong, we trying to not merge this pull request until we fix all the issues. So hopefully that will make our releases more stable and predicted. Thanks, Nick, for noting this. And now let's switch to OpenFloor. We have few topics to discuss. The first topic I would like to discuss is finding the unified way for removing resources. I can explain that for now we have few options. How can you actually remove the resources? Users usually expecting that if they do some changes in platform configuration, that all related objects will be automatically removed. For now, not all of applications is support doing this. So we have few options. How can we actually remove the resources? The main idea for now that we use kubectl for rendering Helm chart for the platform. So the Cozystack itself includes patch named installer and platform chart. It is specified in core platform. And in here, we have this cycle of rendering all the manifests of this chart, and then delete the resources which have this label. I was thinking about moving this logic somewhere into Cozystack controller and use the same pattern for removing the other components. For now, we can't remove their resources because they applied just with simple kubectl apply. They have some experimental support for option for deleting resources which are not specified here, but I have worries about using this opportunity in here. I'm still thinking that we need to add specific label for deletion, and then we can handle the deletion by the controller. Do you have any thoughts on this? No idea. All right, then. There is a question from John. Can we use whitelisting for resources? What do you mean by this question? deploy a set of applications instead of removing afterwards. Maybe I didn't get the question. You can join with your voice. All right. Let's switch to the next one. We can come back to this later. I would like to discuss the state of getting rid of bundles. And there are a few options, a few questions from the Timothy. Would you be kind to introduce those questions, please?
Yeah, sure. Just a second. So, I was thinking more of the part that we want to have pluggable application repositories in Cozystack, because for now we only have the ones that we have entry with the Cozystack API server, the buckets, the Kubernetes databases, and so on. But if we're going to enable our users to add their own application catalogs, how should we handle that? Because right now, all of these applications are handled by our extension API server. And should we just let different users add different applications right into the app's Cozystack IO namespace? Or should we register them dynamically in some other manner? Would this be feasible at all? That was my line of thought.
I'm still thinking that this opportunity should be restricted to the administrator of the platform, and they usually have this opportunity to access Kubernetes API, configure Cozystack through the configuration file, or to create additional resources like Helm repositories. I think this step should be defined like this. So we need to find a way to create, to connect external Helm repository with defining FluxCD entity. And that should be possible only to administrator, not to the user of the platform.
I'm talking about, the users who are our users and not the very end users. Of course, it's only accessible to the administrator. But are these going to be custom resources like we have in Cozystack, like bucket.apps.cozystack.io, or are these just going to be Helm releases?
Definitely, yes. It should be automatically configure our API server to serving those resources. So I was thinking about the similar mechanism like custom resource definitions. We can say cozy resource definition, which will also ship the configuration for these resources together with a Helm repository. And so it should be kind of easy way to put few resources. That should be Helm repository. And also some Cozystack resource definition, which can be looking like part of our configuration file for API server and dashboard. So once administrator creates these two resources, they should be able to see those applications in dashboard. But there is another question about access rights, because for now we have role-based access control configured only to our applications. It might be interesting to specify this different API scheme for those applications to let them use wildcard.
Do you think they should share the app's Cozystack IO namespace, or maybe they should use some other namespace?
I think it might be like repo name .cozystack.io or apps.cozystack.io, something like this. And this also might be useful for our extra applications because we don't really want to some certain categories of users to use extra applications. For now, we specify them explicitly, like if you want to provide access to deploy etcd or ingress, we just specify that you can create these resource types in tenant application. I think it would be nice to have the opportunity to specify something. You can create everything in extra Cozystack.io.
Okay, that makes sense, but that's a new level of dynamic registration. So right now our API server registers custom resources for just one API group. And now we're going to have to teach it to start providing multiple API groups.
Yeah, that might be a not easy task to do. Let's switch it to a few phases. I think the first phase could be just to use the same apps Cozystack namespace and create these resources.
I suppose a start could be that we migrate our own resources to to be dynamically injected through Cozystack resource definitions.
What do I mean by this?
I mean that we no longer use the config map that we have for the Cozystack API server, that we implement this Cozystack resource definition, and we register all the resources that we provide in tree with this Cozystack resource definition.
Yeah, you mean to reading this configuration directly from the Cozystack API server. That would be nice.
And then we will be able to replicate this approach for user-provided application catalogs.
Yeah, the only problem here that our existing dashboard can handle only one type of resources. So in this way, we also need to update our BFF of kubeapps to be able to reading this document, this resource as well.
That's true.
Not sure how it could be difficult. I think we need to have a little research on this. I would like to have just phase one where you have no opportunity to redefine this API group. And in phase two, you can actually have this opportunity to define your own group. We can actually make a migration for this as well. So we can serve old apps approach for specific time and then just remove this. Can we just split it to two phases? What do you think?
I don't mind. I just really do not want to share the apps Cozystack IO API group.
Why not?
I don't want to ever enable the option of adding or even shadowing the resources that we provide in tree, and then get into a point where where in one place I don't know, MySQL Cozystack IO is one thing, and in another it's a completely different thing. People will be sharing a device, and thinking they're talking about one thing when in reality they'll be talking about two completely different applications.
That makes sense, but there is still opportunity. Another third funny opportunity is to use extra field to specify repository name in spec. Let's say we have API version, and we can have API repository field in our API server. That's not exactly the thing. How is it done usually in Kubernetes? But I would also consider this opportunity. Because for now we have unified API. No, that is not going to work because we need to have separate resources with separate OpenAPI schema. So we have to use different API versions for various repositories. I would like to research on how could be difficult it to implement the custom groups like this one for all the type of resources. For example, we can have extra, we can have apps, maybe not apps here, it could be packages. And user can also define their own repository. Something like this. That would solve many problems with role-based access control because users can specify actually wildcards if users can create applications from here or from here. I would like to check this opportunity first. Let's define it like phase one. Research on splitting, on including repo name into API version. Phase two to be discussed later because we don't know if it is possible or not, if it is easy implementable. All right then. The second question probably to the same one. Will they dynamically register it on Cozystack API? Yeah. And do we need to think about whether we want to deploy them via kubeapps so that we get application tails? And you mean to let users deploy applications from kubeapps or to connect repositories using kubeapps?
To deploy applications. Although, I mean, we do need a better dashboard in any case.
Yeah, that's true. But until that, I'm still thinking that value of Cozystack is providing unified API for all the applications and even the opportunity to show them in dashboard. I think it makes no sense to show it in API but not show in dashboard. So we need to show it in dashboard anyway.
Yeah, sure.
I have a question.
Yep.
But you know that for many time I've looked for Cozystack, I thought that what is maybe the dashboard, it's you're looking on it, but you're thinking that this will be not most optimal way to deploy. And I see that you in same time you do a lot of efforts to dashboard. So And I would like to ask, because you are also getting the signals from other people, is the dashboard very important? Or if you, because the common way of deploying everything is not click way, click ops, but automated way, maybe in any Terraform way or Ansible way or kubectl apply way, because this is a platform. This is not, this is not Photoshop.
That's a nice phrase. I think the dashboard makes a really good sense in case if you just get into the platform, because sometimes you just want to open and see all the list of applications you've deployed. If you didn't know experience with Cozystack itself, it might be easier to just let into dashboard and deploy a few applications through the dashboard. Then you can use API server to see how this applications looks like, and then you can copy those manifests and use API afterwards. So I really like this approach that we solve both cases. For now, dashboard, it might be some alternative to documentation, to interactive documentation. For example, okay, I want to deploy Postgres. This is way those options you have. It also includes some additional information on how to restore the resources. So I would like to keep it as is, maybe not develop it very high, but still keeping it for nearby users.
Okay, thank you.
But that's true that we should more focusing on API, and latest improvements should help us to do this. We're also considering to change dashboard to something else. We have working group started working on new dashboard. For now, we're checking few opportunities of few other projects which we can base on, or maybe we will find more resources to developing it from scratch. So it sounds interesting to create some unified way for the showing the resources, but definitely dashboard should repeat all the API resources exactly the same way. How can you see them through the Kubernetes API? Just to share the same experience of using dashboard and Kubernetes API.
Yeah, I agree. But I understand that it takes a lot of effort, that you are building the engine inside, and it may be non-standard or standard, and then you're building the dashboard which uses the levers of this engine. And this is double, from a point, is double work, and that it is a good idea to find such solutions that you use some engine which is very good already, maybe.
There are not many of such engines. At existing dashboard, it just works. Yeah, sometimes we need to fix some issues. But for now, I think it is really important for onboarding users and to have some faith,
Yeah.
And for now we are working on we checking the product which is not yet open source. The Dmitry Putin is representative of this product on this meet. They built a really interesting pluggable dashboard which you can configure just with the YAMLs in Kubernetes. If we will success with that, maybe we will consider to remove existing dashboard based on kubeapps and implement in different way using this approach.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, too. The last question I would like to discuss is, for now we are about to creating a ready configuration for hosting providers, and we considering few so it seems like billing is latest part which is missing for them. We have really nice billing backend, and we need to have implementation for billing frontend. But at first, I would like to consider which options, which products are more commonly used in this sphere. For now, I know that there is VJ MCS, Bill, and ISP. Build Manager are more popular for hosting providers, but there are also a few open source alternatives. Let's say Killbill, and there were also another one. I don't remember the name. Let me find it. So I would like to ask your experience. If you use any billing system in your environment, please share which one and which one would you like to use? Yeah, this last one here. It's called Meteoroid. Any thoughts on this? No ideas. Okay. Do we have any other questions from community which we need to answer, or we will switch to bug scrub? Let's go and check pull requests. We have pull requests created from from Timofey for specifying Kubernetes versions. If you're interested, please go ahead and review it. It can be done by any community member. You don't need to have any specific access to review the pull requests we do. Just go to the pull requests and to files changed, and you can left your commentaries here. Feel free to do this. And let's switch to bug scrub. Yeah, we have defined that we don't have MySQL metrics. I think we will fix it soon. Okay, those one are from our daily meetings. So probably no new things arrived here. All right, then. Then I would like to ask if we still have any other questions. If not, going once, going twice. And thank you for attending Cozystack community meeting. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.